Hello everybody, Zongets134 here.
And as always, I'm Average Joe Squad.
And welcome to Hyphenated Reviews. AKA, I got tired of the movie reviews of current stuff being specials, so we're going to be their own thing. Where we talk about the latest...
We're going to eat the specials.
We're not going to eat anybody. So basically, I kind of want, like I said, this is kind of what I want to name, like, the current movie reviews whenever we... Especially because they're supposed to be our first impressions. It's a short,
it's not really a full-on
review, which hence hyphenated. But anyway, we just got out of seeing Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And we won't spoil anything.
I love this mask so much.
There is a really important end credit scene to this. I'm sure a lot of people had it spoiled already. I know
in case anybody gotten this far, doesn't want spoilers, turn the fucking video off immediately.
We won't talk about the end credit scene though, because you need to see that.
You need to see that. Please stay for the fucking end credit scene.
Yeah, the end credits. You need to see that shit.
This is big shit. This is big brain shit.
Otherwise, we will talk about like plot points of the movie. So like if why the fuck you watching this review if you aren't going to see?
Because knock knock with the devil.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed they didn't have that in there again, even though I'm like Eminem's in the movie.
No.
Because I heard him over the credits, I was like, yeah, I recognize that's M's voice.
But yeah, so someone who didn't go and see the first film when it came out and mostly only knows the movie through like clips and reviews of the original Venom. Mostly because I didn't really see the need for it, just because like it was a Spider-Man-less Venom who doesn't really look like Venom because they can't use the actual costume, and the fact that the first symbiote was a guy I know absolutely jack shit about because I'm not really the biggest Venom guy.
Well, it's because here's where, let's get this out of the way before anybody starts ripping us apart in the comments. When it comes to symbiotes, I give shits about only the following symbiotes: Venom, Mania, Scream, Carnage, Toxin. Those are the only fucking ones I give any fucks about. I don't care about Cole. I don't care.
Yeah,
they have hopelessly complicated all that shit.
Yeah,
to the point where it's like you need a fucking book to follow what's going on.
I give zero shits about the Venomverse.
I'm sure there are people out there who follow it more closely than either of us. But it's just, for me, it's like,
I wish Cody had been here because Cody probably would have lost his mind.
Like I said, my thing is I'm just like, it's so complicated, which I know is kind of hypocritical coming from me, who's an X-Men guy.
Yeah.
But I'm the first to tell you X-Men is hopelessly complicated.
Like, the only interest I had in Null was during Silver Surfer Black, and that's just because I found that book really interesting when Comic Pop reviewed it. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, like, then my big thing with Venom is there's only one symbiote anyone gives a shit about him fighting, and it's Carnage. Like, especially because they picked a symbiote in the first film that looks so similar to Venom. I couldn't tell who the fuck was who when they fought.
Well, and I know, like, since I was a kid, Carnage has really been, like, my favorite villain.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to the symbiotes.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna sound terrible. I initially picked him because I like the color red. Red is my favorite color.
I mean,
in case you haven't told, my phone is red. My car is red.
Yeah. I mean, I love the color red, too.
Red is my all-time favorite color. It's the only plaid flannels I own are red.
I just went with a silver colored car because I didn't like the red cars are the ones that have been in the most car accidents. But
anyway, but I've always really loved Carnage.
Yeah.
And so when I heard they were gonna put him in, this movie, I was hyped because I was like, how long have we been wanting? I've been wanting live action Carnage since like the Raimi days.
Yeah. Like who the fuck doesn't want Carnage? Like, he's an amazing villain. He's literally Venom, but with a much cooler design, if I'm being honest, as much as I love Venom.
It's just absolutely crazy. I mean, like, the only complaint I will have about how he was depicted in this movie, this is me nitpicking, and you probably know where I'm going to go. Mm-hmm. I wish they had the high-ass pitch voice for him as the symbiote, like it is in the PS1
Yeah, that was a little weird, because,
my God, if they had put that in there, I would have been creeped out.
I do kind of wish they would have done that, because, like, but I think the reason they didn't is because they were worried, because he's already...
It might sound goofy.
Well, he's already pretty much just Joker. I think they were like, we're gonna... Because I will admit, I kind of liked their version of Carnage's voice. But I will admit, it was a little... It made it so that him and Venom had a very similar sounding voice. Mm-hmm. I do kind of get where you're coming from. For me, the only really complaint I have is that first scene with Carnage when he's just laying waste to that prison he's in. It was a little hard to see because it was very shaky in a few sections. It was a little hard to tell what was going on. But otherwise, this is more or less what I wanted from the first film. Like, it straight up was what I wanted. Just Venom being Venom. He fights Carnage. Carnage racks up a body count.
Like, oh my god, like,
Well,
listen.
yeah,
the scene where he becomes Carnage and he's killing all the guards
Yeah.
and shit. This man looks over at me and I'm sitting there like a fucking kid in a candy store.
yeah.
'Cause I'm like, cinema.
Yeah.
Watching fucking Carnage ripping these motherfuckers
Honestly,
apart. Even PG-13.
Yeah,
it was
no,
gory
even
as fuck.
PG-13, I was like, holy shit. But Woody Harrelson as Carnage was
It's fucking fantastic.
yeah, he has the mania of Carnage down. He like
That wide-eyed, crazy ass look.
Like he has that kind of sadistic sense of humor that Cletus has. Like, it honestly is really well done.
Like, I know there's a lot of doubts about him when that
Yeah.
first got announced, but like after seeing the movie, he blew it out of the fucking water.
When it works too, because him and Hardy have very different bodies types. You know, like you can tell even though like he's not as buff as the comic Eddie, but like you can tell he's got muscle
a
to
little more
him.
jacked, whereas Carnage is kind of like a little more
Yeah.
sleek and like faster.
And Woody
almost.
Harrelson's, you know, he definitely like lost some weight for this because I've seen he's not like a svelte guy, but he definitely was a little bit stockier.
No, he probably got in shape for
Yeah,
it.
here he's definitely a lot more like how I would envision Cletus, like kind of gangly and manic. Like, he is perfect in this. Like that scene where he steals the
Mustang.
the Mustang, which
Yeah, when he first said it was a dart, and you can ask him, I was like, motherfucker, that is a Mustang.
I mean, to be fair,
I was gonna flip shit because
be-
I'm a car guy.
to be fair, Cletus probably don't know shit about cars.
But he doesn't because he knows it's Shriek's dream vehicle.
Yeah, and-
So fuck out of here with this.
Also, I love that they did Shriek. I honestly didn't expect them to do Shriek. Hold on a second. Is that my phone?
That was your phone, my man.
Oh, okay. I forgot the light. But yeah, I was surprised when they showed they were going to do Shriek.
So did I. You and I were. Because I want to say we saw the first trailer maybe like a month after we reviewed Maximum Carnage.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like perfect timing.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh, we're
It's
doing
like, oh,
Shriek
shit,
too.
Okay.
But no, I liked her. I liked her in it. I will admit, she's really kind of only in there briefly, given how the runtime of this film is, and how it's like only an hour and a half long. That's like my other big complaint is that this movie is clearly supposed to run a lot longer,
Yeah.
and you can tell that there's some scenes that were cut pretty heavily. I mean, it's not so bad. It's like what was the movie we saw where it was like other than like Dark Phoenix? I thought we watched in one currently that was a little bit.
That we thought the editing was chop.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise...
It wasn't Far From Home, was it?
No, I don't think it was Far From Home.
What
There's
was
a
the
movie
one,
recently...
What was the one right after that? Because we haven't seen that many
Yeah, that's true.
many movies lately. New Mutants. You're thinking of
Yeah,
New
New
Mutants.
Mutants.
It was New Mutants because you could tell that was edited.
Yeah.
Again, that comes from me and Adam both having some AV /
Yeah.
video productions experience. You know, so like we're kind of familiar with like the editing process and all that. So it's like when you've edited stuff enough times and you know where like a cut is,
Yeah.
it's impossible to not see it in films when
Yeah.
they either do it on purpose or it's just kind of like they thought it wasn't that. I would say it's become more prevalent since I want to say the pandemic started because you know they're obviously editing stuff
Yeah,
a little
they-
harder. You can't have a lot of people in the same room. It's like it's just very easy for those who know how to edit to tell when there's been something either spliced or edited. Like it's very it's hard to explain unless you know what we're talking about.
I mean...
You can just tell.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you're a music guy, you can tell where something has been like a track clicks on, or
Very
like
much.
you can tell where there's been like a click track used. It's just it's something noticeable to those who know what they're talking about.
Exactly. But no, like here, for me, like you can tell this movie was edited really to get it to like 90 minutes, which I don't understand why it was edited unless
I don't understand. Why
unless this is when this comes out on DVD, there's going to be a hard R cut that like they had to get this pared down to PG-13.
Maximum Carnage cut.
Yeah.
I would pay.
Like,
I'll pay money.
I mean, granted, I don't think it's bad. Like say Dark Phoenix, where it was almost incomprehensible what the fuck we were watching.
You think it might be something like the Rogue cut, or you think maybe they'll release another cut of it, maybe?
Yeah, because given how much seemed to have been cut from this, I almost think they wanted to do PR.
But then you think maybe the higher ups said, "Hey, we got to bust this down."
We got to, yeah. I almost think that was because like the one scene where we see Cletus's backstory was all in cartoon. I almost wonder if they actually
filmed that.
Yeah, it filmed him like murdering like his family. Because like I don't know,
they could have. I don't know. I'd have to do digging. I didn't follow this and the leak side of this as closely as I have some other stuff.
But like I feel like this must have been cut. Like this was like they got it to 90 because they wanted it to be PG-13 like the first one, like you said. I would not be surprised when this comes out on Blu-ray that it gets a hard R cut. Like you'll get like the theater cut, but you'll also get a hard R cut. Like I almost expect them to reveal that when this movie comes out on DVD.
Yeah.
But like otherwise, I don't think it was bad. In my opinion, I didn't mind the runtime. Like I said, I could tell that like they had definitely cut out a lot more of the violence and the gore. But what was there was pretty intense for a PG-13. Your thoughts on the editing?
Like I said, there were some parts where I could really tell there'd been something going on.
Yeah.
But like even if they did edit it down to get a PG-13 rating, there were plenty of stuff. There's plenty of scenes in there where like you and I both were like kind of like whoa. Like,
yeah, I actually really love that scene where he's busting Shriek out of her cage, and you can see him pulling the doctor up to strangle her to death.
Or like when he's throwing some of the guards around, you can tell those fuckers are going through walls.
Yeah,
like they're dead.
Or that poor guard who's like, "Please, I have family," and he shoves his tongue down his throat.
Yeah, that part I was like,
and then whips his poor. I'm like, oh my god. I also think that like because some of the editing, like they really tried to hide that the cop that Eddie was talking to all this time was the one that shot Shriek in the flashback.
I apparently just hit 10,000 posts on my Tumblr.
Nice. Because like you could tell they were really hiding that reveal that he was the cop that took out Shriek's eye.
Yeah, which I thought was a decent little twist.
If I were to say anything like nitpicky for me, they altered Shriek's powers to be that she literally has psionic blast or like
kind of like Black Canary almost.
Whereas her ability's more like a
she makes people go insane.
Yeah. To quote Ben from Comic Pop, she's a human mosh pit because she brings out the worst parts of human nature via her like psychic abilities.
She and Carnage share the same type of music, which is heavy metal.
Although I say that they do kind of hint at her psychic powers. I think at the end with the cop when his eyes turn.
You think maybe she transferred her essence into him? That could be interesting.
Because like I like given how like she's introduced and then killed in this movie, I'm like, there's no way she's.
I don't know.
Not.
I didn't see a fucking body.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No, listen, I didn't see a body, so for all I know, could have ended up inside the bell and everything's fine. Because remember, it was hollow. There was nothing in it.
Yeah, because
I didn't see a dead body. So following the laws of the movies, I don't believe nobody dead unless I see a corpse.
I mean,
Cletus, that motherfucker.
Oh no,
that motherfucker dead.
Cletus is dead.
Fuck this guy.
Fuck this guy.
It's like, damn.
My only other big complaint with this movie is the fact they had to call it "Let There Be Carnage." I'm like,
calling it Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, just call it Maximum Carnage. That's what everyone wants to fucking call it.
Just Maximum Carnage.
Like, because like that's what it's called. And not once did they say Maximum Carnage, and it was just. I do really love the way they design Carnage in this. He is. I mean, granted, you saw that in the trailer, but he is perfectly
it's fucking beautiful.
Like
I said, ever since I was a kid, I have loved Venom. Like I loved seeing him in TAS. I loved seeing him in basically anything he was in. I liked.
Yeah.
But my main gripe was always just like they always had to neuter him or like tame him because of like ratings and stuff. Yeah. And while this isn't like a hard R where he would have been absolutely fucking ridiculously insane.
No.
it's still gory enough that I'm like, I feel satisfied as a Carnage
No,
fan
I
because I'm
definitely
like,
was.
I got to see him just being Carnage and just absolutely brutally fucking killing.
And there's
people.
also some really great callbacks to like classic Venom comics. The part where
lethal protector.
yeah, or the part where Eddie's ex-girlfriend Anne gets the symbiote for a brief moment. She becomes the bride of Venom, much like Eddie's ex-wife in the comics. The ending is very much taken from one of the classic Amazing Spider-Man stories. I'm not gonna say which one because I don't want to spoil too much of the ending, but one of the classic fights between Venom and
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I almost wanted to call him Peter. I'm like, it's Spider-Man.
Peter-Man. I mean, fuck.
Peter-Man. I mean, yeah. But no,
I loved that the Daily Bugle logo in this movie was the fucking Raimi one because
Yeah.
I love that design.
No, it is really good design.
I would love, whenever I get my own house, I would love to get like the shots of the Raimi newspapers we see in those ones, along with like the other ones, since they're going to be using that logo for other stuff.
Yeah.
I'd love to get those blown up and make them like framed.
Yeah.
And just have them like along the house. It's like, what are these? Oh, these are my collection of newspapers.
Doc Ock's still at large? Colin, did you take these from a movie?
Yeah.
But
The best movies.
yeah. I also love that they really have developed the relationship between Eddie and the symbiote, where very much the symbiote wants to make Eddie's life better and a sort kind of, while at the same time he constantly craves chocolate and brains. Which I guess here they imply that like it's some sort of like chemical.
It's like a chemical.
Yeah, that it's in like chocolate and brains.
He's looking for the happy juice.
Yeah.
He's looking for that serotonin, like just like the rest of us.
Yeah, which it is stated that chocolate, I think, does actually contain that chemical. But yeah, I actually really like that they've developed the symbiote himself as a character, because like sometimes they don't really let the symbiote get to have much character outside of like his interactions with Eddie, especially when he's been host to other people. Like I know that he didn't really have a personality with Mac Gargan, aka the Scorpion. I want to say he actually
he had one with Flash.
I couldn't remember if he did because I know that like they're using chemicals
he
to
did
like
with Flash.
to make the Venom symbiote not be as in control. Although to be fair, if I remember correctly, I think he actually loved being with Flash. But
No, he did.
Which is why when he came back to Eddie,
He's like, you're a fucking bronze
you
Venom."
are a bronze metal. I could do better. I also just love doing
because Peter's the gold, obviously.
Peter Parker was the gold medal, so was Flash. I want a three-way with him and Flash.
Jesus.
Or I will eat Mrs. Chen. I'm just happy I can...
I am. Also, I'm gonna say this because I told you this in the theater. As someone who is a fan of Michelle Williams, that scene where she's like sweet talking Venom was like.
That part was really great.
I really love her as an actress. I loved her on Dawson's Creek. So
I also
she
really
was my favorite character on there.
I don't know why I loved her fiance character just because he's so like out
You're
of
a
his-
pussy. I was like, that was the best part of calling him that guy a pussy.
I also
Everybody in the theater was like, yeah, he's a pussy.
yeah. Now, could I ask you a quick question? I was a little lost when Venom was trying to describe like Carnage being a red one. It was kind of hard to hear what they were saying.
That's a red one.
Yeah, was that just it that he was that? It seemed like Venom was really thinking that it was gonna kill him.
I'd have to go back and look. Again, I'm not the biggest knowledge-wise when it comes to symbiotes.
Well, I mean,
Cody might be able to tell us later.
Well, here it sounded more like it was something for the movie because, like, well, it was kind of funny because like Venom in this was like we're gonna die, which is weird because usually the Venom symbiote has a mat on for Carnage because it's like I spawned you out of accident.
And now I gotta fucking kill you.
So I gotta destroy you because like you're my responsibility.
That's like my favorite is when Carnage gives birth to Toxin.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to get away from Venom, and Venom's like, "No, listen, we can talk you through this." And Carnage is like, "I just want to kill this fucking thing."
Oh yeah. Meanwhile, poor Tox is just like, I just want to live.
I'll do anything you want me to. I'll be anything you want me to be. I want you to be dead. Fucking Carnage hitting him with a stick. I want you to be dead.
I honestly wonder if they're ever gonna do Toxin. I don't think they will, but like,
I don't know, but anymore. I mean, people never thought there'd be a Guardians movie, so like, at this point, I don't even know.
but yeah, overall, I really loved it. I actually really loved that end fight scene where we got to see the Carnage symbiote like just all over that church they were in.
Yeah, I was like that. Like,
I was really disappointed that we didn't get to watch them, have this fight while meanwhile Daredevil and Bullseye are in the background.
Damn it, man! This is no time to cast the guilt.
Which that poor priest, that like they just
no, not the guy in white. Father? Yes. No, not you.
His father.
But
I'm also finding out I can do a really good Venom.
If only I could do that high ass pitch Carnage voice.
So once again.
But no, what I really liked about it was they kept the Carnage design really, really fucking close to the comics.
He was like really tall too.
When he's doing the projectals and shit, I was like,
or he makes the axe hands at one point.
I was like, seeing that, I was just like, yes.
No, which is one of the things I always like. Why I love Venom, I always think it's frustrating that Venom basically just has
the brute force. Everything, whereas Carnage has like a little more finesse.
Well, and not only that, because Cletus is unhinged, he gets creative with how he kills with the symbiote,
like a fucking serial killer.
Yeah, like a serial killer. Whereas Venom, it's just. I get real big and I shoot web. And I sound like Tom Hardy.
Also got this ridiculous jaw in some of the depictions of me.
No, I'm really glad with their design of Venom. They didn't go with the stupidly huge jaw and tongue. And he's constantly oozing green slime for no fucking reason. Which I know a lot of people are real big in that version of Venom. It looked dumb even in the 90s. I'm sorry. As someone who grew up in the 90s with that
it's part of that Todd McFarlane art style that you either love it or you hate it. I'm always middle of the road with it. I like some of it.
Some of it's not bad, but I
enjoy the way he draws Mary Jane, but even then I'm like, bro, you over-sexualize her to the extreme.
Yeah, or I do not like the pun he puts
everybody looks buff as fuck all the time. Like it looks like it's like a 90s Star Wars figure.
Which is saying something, because he wasn't the dude who drew Savage Dragon back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my God, everyone was fucking buff and Savage Dragon.
Jacked.
But like
the score was great.
Yeah, the score was really, really good.
I actually bought it while we were in the theater.
I actually really like that guitar riff that plays during the fight with Venom and Carnage. It was almost Carnage rules.
Yeah, which I was I'm gonna have to listen to Black Sabbath Mob Rules on the way home tonight.
No. I think we've pretty much talked about the whole movie.
Yeah,
you have any more complaints you had? Because I think I told my complaints pretty much.
It just felt. These are my two big things. The movie was short because it's only an hour and 30 minutes. I felt it could have been longer, but again, I feel like you and I both feel like they cut stuff out. And then the opening, like 20, 30 minutes or so, it really felt like a different movie. Like, I want to say once Cletus really got into the story, it kind of picked up and became... I feel like there was a bit of stuff that got cut out there.
Yeah, I kind of see where you're going from. It didn't bother me as much, but
I don't know. It's like I was almost bored the opening 20 minutes, and then it kind of like picked up, and I was like,
then once they put Cletus into the lethal injection seat, it really started to pick up. Which, oh my God, that scene where his blood stops the lethal injection.
That's when you're like, oh no, this shit. I've read Maximum Carnage. I know shit's about to hit the fan.
And I also like it because the way Venom appears out of Eddie, it forms around him. When the Carnage symbiote comes out of Cletus, it rips him apart. You can actually see part of his head explode.
He's getting stabbed and shit, and you can see there's no bones or anything.
As if implying that this symbiote has in fact taken over his entire body.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, granted, it's kind of weird because at the end of the film, it clearly wasn't that he had been permanently bonded, especially because, which I actually give this movie credit, they actually gave the Carnage symbiote a personality, because usually it doesn't. Usually, because him and Cletus are just identical. Well, I think the idea, if I remember correctly, Cletus is so insane, he somehow killed his symbiote's personality, and it became completely a part of his body. Not just that they are fully bonded, because technically Eddie and the Venom symbiote were permanently bonded at one point, which is supposed to kill you when it's separated, but comic books. Venom still does have a personality. It's just, it depends on the writer whether or not Venom has a separate personality from Eddie. But yeah, otherwise I see what you were talking about with the 20. It didn't bother me as much, but I do kind of get what you're saying, because it kind of felt like we were watching like a kind of lame serial killer bio documentary, and then we
Yeah.
finally kicked into like the
Felt like I
superhero
flipped
movie.
on fucking investigative
True
discovery. I was watching
yeah.
murder porn.
You know, but overall, this is pretty much like I said. This was what I wanted from the first film, and this movie delivers on that. Like it's got great action. It really it gets Carnage in a way that I don't think anything could top. Like I don't really want them to make another movie with Carnage because this was pretty much perfect. I don't know how anyone could like do this again. But like I said, the only things I really didn't like was it was really short. Not like in a bad way, but like I kind of wanted more. Like it was good. I just wanted a little bit more of Carnage. Like maybe that's why they didn't call it Maximum Carnage. Because it was just enough Carnage. Not the maximum. But
You fucking proud of yourself?
a little bit.
There's a fucking comedy club up in Erie. Why don't you go up there and tell your jokes?
All right. So, rating wise, I'd give this as an 8 out of 10. I think it's a very solid picture.
I'm also gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Very solid.
If it had been rated R and he had been like completely
Oh, yeah, no.
fucking cutting motherfuckers in half, it would have been a 10 out of 10. Without a doubt.
No, exactly.
Just for that alone.
Yeah.
Which makes me sound horribly like I'm a fucking serial killer and I get off to that shit. But
I mean,
it's
to be
just,
fair though,
it's Carnage, and like I've been seeing him do crazy ass shit like that. The scene where he made his psychologist go fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of shit I'm used to with Venom.
yeah.
I mean,
With
like
Carnage.
Venom and Carnage, it's like I'm used to seeing that kind of shit.
This is definitely that would be a really good pairing with Suicide Squad from earlier this year.
Yeah.
Well, I say earlier this year, like a couple months, but no, like this. Yeah, as much as I think, if I were to rate the superhero movies we've watched this year, it would be. Well, James Gunn's Suicide Squad was really fucking good. It'd probably be at the top for me. Then this, then probably Black Widow. Like I like Black Widow, but like these two are like really, really good. And I like Black Widow.
Probably Black Widow, Suicide Squad, this. That's where I've been at so far.
Yeah, but otherwise they've all been really good films.
I loved all three.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I loved all three.
No, I did as well. But just talking about how if you want us to do a rating, because we don't do end of the year ratings for movies because we're kind of busy doing Spider-Man shit at the end of the year. But overall, yeah, I recommend this. It's in theaters right now. Make sure you stay for the end credit scene because that end credit scene was really good. And especially if you're going to see a certain film this November, you're definitely going to want to watch that end credit scene. But anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Hyphenated Reviews. Let us know what you think of the name change in the comments.
Do you want us to review Weekend at Bernie's next? Please let us know in the comments.
That's not going to be a Hyphenated review if we were to do it, for one.
Why
And
not?
two, it's not going to happen.
What if I rent a theater and I let us watch it in the theater?
If you waste your fucking money
Here,
for that.
Would you join me on wasting my money?
Yeah, I will. So that when I can sit in this fucking car when we review that do that fucking review, I can look at you and be like, "Are you proud of yourself?"
No, I'm never proud of myself. I don't even like myself.
Anyway, guys, that's it for this episode of Hyphenated Reviews. I'm Zagetsu 134,
And I'm Average Joe Squad.
and I don't have an end catchphrase for this episode.
Let there be hyphen.
So once again, the hyphen is don't what you doing? Don't you turn that? Don't you hit that stop button? Don't you do it? Venom will do it. Oh, you son of a bitch! Take care, guys.